And as I said, as in part one, they want you to think that what is experienced by you at this point is just an observed experience that they're just not doing anything to make me experience. And they have no shame. And matter of fact, it's needed, because how you gonna gaslight somebody if you can't have shame? And these people have no, like, they really don't care if they look like they're just insulting people's intelligence. Not too long ago they were making me think of like a infant of somebody and giving me stimulation, and I'm supposed to think that this just me just reacting very organically in this way. And that's the things they do. They just want you to not only experience this, which is what they control you to experience, and that's, unfortunately, it's nothing that you can do about the way they manipulate you. At least for somebody like me, to stop that from happening, I don't think it's possible. Just because if there's a way to stop this technology from altering your thought process and your experiences and manipulate your libido, I don't have the answer of what can be used to stop this type of rewiring and manipulation of your neural system. But one thing is clear, I'm never going to be subscriptive of how these clowns want me to think that this is happening to me just organically. And they love being involved in that because, like I said, at the end of the day, what you're dealing with is complete manipulation of your mind. And you have some of the most unstable, unimpressive participants to obviously much more impressive people, and I'll go through all of them. And you can hear them while interacting with you, going through this, some of them, and I know I can gauge how they're doing in life based on how they interact with me. And it's not even just financially. When I hear this person interacting with me in just like fierce ways, like, yeah, you do this and that, yeah, and you move on, and like they act like they're just kind of some kind of victorious beings, I know usually they're not doing well. I'm not even talking about financially. Something is just unstable in their life. Well, they're just like, yeah, it's you, yes, like, that they just, you're just one of the things they enjoy to do, but they're not willing to be this clown. They're like, okay, yeah, it's you. They're not fully like immersed in the way of they try to gaslight you. They're just like, it's you. While the others like, yeah, no, we just want to win. We gonna do it. And I can tell these perps, those most likely very unstable. This is an escapism. Target individual, you can do nothing about how you're being manipulated. And they're like, no, we're gonna win. We're just assessing. Oh my God, it's just so good. And like I said, manipulation are degrading. You've seen the videos I've made. Babies, like right now it was just an infant, like a coworker holding her, I think her infant, or what looks like her infant, and wanting me to think that I'm just being naturally experiencing that, and start manipulating me to have some kind of sexual stimulation. And these clowns are so disgusting that pedophilia in this program, in regard of manipulation and breaking you down and attacking your mind, is utilized. Then they act like they protect kids. They're disgusting trash. Now, not only I know they manipulate target individuals in this fashion, in this pedophilia-centric fashion, but in this program, they torture children. Children are also test subjects. Not only children are involved as perps, but children also are used as test subjects. So you truly see the trashiness, or you have to see the trashiness of this low life. Because what they do, it's not this disgusting thing, just manipulating your brain and doing whatever they do to your body, but they do the same thing to children, harming children. But then having the audacity to present themselves as the protectors of children is so disgusting. And because this technology can be applied onto somebody, can be utilized onto somebody, and as I say, applied, remotely, they think that they cannot be accountable for what they're involved in. The truth is, they love this thing because they can control me. Matter of fact, the word applied, I think, came from somebody just trash. Disgusting. The things they say, to be honest, are giving a joke. They're so disgustingly disgusting. Like this human. I'm currently employed by people who participate, and I'll get back to that. But there's people. I've been employed by people who partake in this and have so much to gain from participating that is so disgusting. But this specific person was talking about how they're gonna implant child porn and frame in this fashion, but because her gender makes it different, because now this program is feminist. It's not this massive government. And she's so disgusting. And she thought that I would look at her in this fashion as this fierce femme fatale protectors of children that will implant child porn. But they love the fact they can control me, and me saying the word apply onto you is something that's been controlled, but they control so much more than that. This is not even a show of how much control they have. They're way more controlling than that. But that's something I've accepted. I understand that's what they love about that. But they have involved themselves in something that tortures children. And it will never end in regard of attaching them to that. Our purpose is say this on purpose, because this trash, like, it's over. It's been over. It's over in regard of how you wanted to paint to yourself as. It's over. I know you torture children. I know you just an oppressed. I know this massive government is running this program now. Clowns presenting themselves in this fashion. You guys are just doing nothing. The government is utilizing. You're making children die. You're making women die. You're just a participant in this program. You're disgusting trash. And I'm so thankful in my videos that every day, this thankfulness I say is this: thank you, God, that I never partake in this trashiness where I could get involved in the program that kills kids and be like, yeah, it's over. Fucking shit. Wearing my pajamas. I know that I make a lot of videos, but I understand the power of the word. I say these things knowing that they're gonna land. And most importantly, I don't want this trash involved in this thing to escape. They're not gonna think they were some heroic beings that were victorious in their adventures or in their implementation. There's nothing to be victorious about. I dealt with the manipulation that they try to bring up something to try to make me, to vilify me. But I dealt with something that there's nothing I can do about. And dealt by people who do these things to women and children. Torturing them from sexually to mental tortures. Trying to paint themselves as the protectors of women and children. Disgusting trash. Now the manipulation. Like I said, this video is called, what did he say? They manipulate my brain in this degrading way. They manipulate my brain in this pedophilia-centric way. And want me to identify with this. Yesterday, they were trying to mess with me because I'm like, it's so obvious that it would take very little to see a pattern of how they do things. I'm not a genius. I'm not stupid. I'm not trying to minimize myself. But it's so easy. You don't have to be an AI machine learning tool to understand that what they do is done systematically. You're gonna quickly find out that they have a tactic and some kind of almost like textbook checklist of things they do. That they do so often, but not only to you, but to others, that you clearly can see the pattern of what they do. And the gimmicks are so obvious that you clearly see what they try to do. I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist, but it's so clear when they try to deflect, when they try to disorient you, when they do all these things that's so obvious. All the gimmicks are done for the purpose of making you identify with this. But what they do is so obvious that they do to others. They do this pedophilia type of torture. And matter of fact, me saying pedophilia type of torture is a term that I got it from somebody else. Because that's what they do. And they do that so systematically that a man called Robert Duncan wrote a book in 2014 interviewing targeted individuals, about 1,000 of them, with almost all of them saying something about, in regard to pedophilia. Now they do the same thing to me, but then try to convince me with me is now that's not what they're doing. Matter of fact, as I'm saying that, to try to disorient me, because it's clear that they have a tactic that is systematic in regard to pedophilia type of torture. They start saying you molest, you did this, when the truth is, they're saying that because they know the entities contracting this trash are the child molesters, pedophiles, and they do this pedophilia type of torture. And when they talk about molesting, what they try to do, and this is where it comes, they try to make me think they're not doing the pedophilia type of torture that they're known to do to others. Not because they're women, by the way. Also, the gender is supposed to negate that, right? It's part of this whole thing. But because they try to exaggerate what I did as a child. And so they utilize this act, inappropriate act of what I did when I was in middle school, try to exaggerate to molesting, to whatever it is they can go to make me think that they're not the one doing the pedophilia type of torture here. They're not doing that. Even though this is a norm of a torture for them. They're delusional clowns. And they have no shame. And they really want you to think like that way. When in truth, in this program, talk about molesting, they do sexual torture onto children as young as 3 years old. What I mean by that, this technology that can do these harmful things to you remotely can harm the private parts of children, of anybody actually, not just children. They do that to men, women, and children. And so what they do to children as young as 3 years old, they use this technology to molest them, to harm them sexually, to target their genitals. And so this trash was saying that, so I cannot think that I'm being manipulated to have these experiences that are pedophilia-centric, but they're mapping and assessing, and they can start using terminology to make it look like they don't do this typical pedophilia type of torture they've done to others. But because it's them, they don't do that. They don't do that. And they do this like gimmicks of noise campaign of like, you're gonna get whipped, and it's like, I run to that trash ass. So you tell me the people who do the pedophilia type of torture are not doing the pedophilia type of torture? Clown trash. And so they manipulate you to have these experiences, and they're like, now I will map that to you as a child. One thing they, like yesterday, they tried to create this mental battle, because what they do is one of the most stupid fucking retardation they want me to think of is like they make me think the way I thought when I was a child. Okay, this is what some of these retards can die for. That's what is happening to me. Is that they just rewire my brain to be a brain of a child, of me as a child. Now, clearly, even this retardation of a logic, if me saying that is going to be rewired in this disgusting way, is something they want me to subscribe to. And when I say they can be dying for that, it means that I'm far from identifying with this. So you can only imagine what happens when I see them. I'm very far from thinking that I'm not being manipulated, but listen to this. that they just make me think the way I thought when I was a child. And one thing they used to do, or they wanted to make me think, or they created this ways or system of making me identify with this manipulation. It's black little girls, all black. That's what you see when you saw black. When they make me say this thing, when you saw black little girls, that's you used to have this feeling, that feeling, that sensation that they give me, that stimulation. It's the idea we mapped it to you as a kid. Trash. One thing they can do is they can alter your memories, by the way, but manipulate memories of a child to make me identify today in my 30s this manipulation that they don't want to make it look like they do the pedophilia type of torture they've known to be doing. It becomes so retarded, it's scary. And that's why I use the word retardation. And so I was like, it's clear that I know what you guys doing. You just try to make me subscribe to this thing. So what you're doing is like, no, but when you black little girls, remember what you did? And so they try to implant these feelings and sensation. You feel like that when you saw black little girls. And because what I did as a child, that I completely forgot, they try to use that to try to morph it into something. And obviously the things with exaggerating into molesting, when we know who's out here molesting children, in order to make me identify with this manipulation today. And they have no shame. They, like I said, these perps have no shame. They will say whatever needs to be said. They'll falsify whatever needs to be falsified to make you identify with these things. And and that's at one point they will do that in your face, but I don't know if they're willing to go that route now, but we'll see. Welcome them. I welcome them to see that how I would react in that way. That's for them to figure that out. If they're so passionate about their non-shameless, please, they can come and see what at this point I would go, how I'll go forward in this level. And I will definitely don't mind moving accordingly. That it's supposed to gaslight you into accepting this. And they utilize childlike trust like they know we mapped it. And when they say map, they mean they make your brain be the brain of you as a child. And so when you have this dialogue that they create, it's like, what he said? They try to, this is the dialogue that this clown just heard. Some of the manipulation started as even my friend. I knew they would manipulate my memories. When they started manipulating my memories toward the children of my friend, or ex-friend who's a perp, I realized this is falsified. No, I didn't feel this way. But initially, you don't know the level of manipulation you're dealing with. You don't understand it. You don't understand how manipulated you are. These experiences, and you don't understand how disgusting the fuckers this trash have been doing are. You don't understand that they literally utilize pedophilia type of torture. You don't know these things. These gimmicks and the facades, somewhat working. They don't make sense, but they're not as discredited as they are today. But I realized something memories is happening here, because this is just I didn't experience that. It was the daughter of my friend. Actually, I think I'll show you. And when you look at the place, I never felt like that. You falsify my memories. And they were starting with me when I was a kid, black little girls, you feel like that, it's like this and that. It's like, and then they tried to falsify that and make me have this experience toward the daughter of my friend in my memories. That's when I started thinking, this is something, they're doing something with memories. And then I literally went back and found the pictures of the little girl. I was like, never. And so I made a video a while ago. See the little, as I'm saying, they try to make me bite the inside of my mouth. It's so nasty. I was like, you think I identified this? And they make me think, give me simulations falsified trash. I was like, no, And they're so discredited because at this point, not only I know they manipulate the brain these ways, I know they have these tactics of torturing children, I know they have these tactics of torturing women, I know they have this psychological warfare-like methods to push target individual into insanity. But you also find out that, oh, these entities behind this program, because they contract this loserness. These people are just participants. My current employer is just a participant. They're not running this thing. They're nobody in the sense of what this program is about. They're nothing. I'm not saying they're nothing in regard of like what they're doing at their corporate work or whatever. They're nothing in regard of this. Just like them. But those entities are the entities here of problem pedophilia. And then it adds to the discredit, how you discredit it. And they use this fucking loserness. Who said not anything to disorient me. For example, right now somebody's like, you're small. Tell me I'm small. Just to deflect. They use childlike trolls. They use childlike trolls, like who do basic deflection, disorientation to stop you from bringing up the fact that these people are just actually the bottom tier for pedophiles. That's when this clown comes and tells me you're small, because I'm supposed to be deflecting, thinking about how small I am. Like, you gotta be strong. But I deal with not only these unimpressive clowns here. But at the office, I deal with people who are definitely more of a smart people. But it's funny. It's so... the way you see them, just get here and go down. Oh, they will tell you this analytical thing and then strategical things and come up with the concept of this tool and this and that. And then you can see them just go down in sensicalness. All in front of you. And the truth is, I'm lucky to see how clearly they can benefit from participating in that. So I was like, oh, I wonder why he can just zoom. What can he benefit from being involved in this? He's working in an industry where human subjects are quite important, profitable, and maybe a resource to acquire clientele. I wonder why he becomes so idiotic. And I've recorded all of these people. And you see them, like yesterday I was on the call with him. He knew I was recording him. And at this point, if they don't know, they know. And so he was about to the attitude was about to start, but he knows he was on camera. So he started behaving. He's just like, start talking to me like with respect. So I'm like, yeah, okay, you know, you're on camera, my friend. Before that, they look at it, yeah, it's like, yeah, hey, my friend. And I can say things that will make you turn so red. And they know that. I'm like, I'll sit down camera. You'll see. They'll see who's in charge here. And he's talking in a very logical way, and I'm like, don't worry, I'm talking to you that way, but you know I'm recording you because I know what you are. You're an opportunist fucker. And I'm gonna be fake pleasant just like you. But I know you're an opportunist. And you didn't gain me. I know there's nothing to, it's over. You didn't gain me. It's obvious why you're involved in it. It was not like a secret. I didn't know what what this employment was about. I was like, oh no, these people are not gonna participate in this. These people that sell these products will not participate in that. No, and they want me to think they destroy my life. It's like, yeah, right. Let me say the name over there. I got some kind of packaging thing. I know who destroyed my life. You buy a lot of product from them too. You just want to present this like we're the one and just like, calm. You're just opportunists that jumped in something which I'm a target individual, where they can benefit from that, but wanting to benefit with that in that without making themselves look like for what they've involved themselves for. This program is killing, torturing women and children. These employers they're utilizing this manipulation in a way to paint themselves as the protectors of children, avengers, in a program where they know they clearly torture children, but they go with the manipulation because they want to benefit with this without looking like the trash that they are, without being accountable for what they did, what they involved themselves in, and what this program does to children. So they want to be involved in this program where they can benefit so much from, but they want to be like, no, but with us, we're doing it to protect children. Yeah, right. In this program, how many children dying and suffering in this program in this low life? What you're living off is how my brain's being manipulated. Then try to gaslight me to think I'm not being manipulated because you want to benefit from this, because you're profitable from this, and then you want to paint your fantasy. You are disgusting trash. And then even if they don't even manipulate my brain, what they try to vilify me about? I'm like, what? For all these women out here dying, suffering, killing themselves, as you call it differently, you think I'm going to allow you to live your fantasy? And then bring up what I did as a child and have this rage. Yeah, when you're involved in the program that torture children as young as your children, how many of them, your children, the kids at the age of your children are dying in this program, are suffering? And then you have this retard shit that are just some loserness on oppressiveness, calling that war. Yeah, right. This is not war. Using human beings like guinea pigs. And there's some clowns in the pajamas burning the vagina of a woman. Then using some retard kids that I can to think they can negate that. Tag individuals, stay strong. See these clowns for what they are, and see this trash for the shit that they are. Cowardness at the max. I would die in hell. That would suffer. Cowardness at its maximum level. They made me say max. Cowardness at its highest level. Tag individual. Stay strong. See this trash for the trash that they are. And do not subscribe or identify with these manipulations.